Good morning, all. It's going to be a long one, I think. So you might like to pause and go and grab a coffee. I suddenly have an awful lot to say, which has spiraled up out of being asked a few beautifully uncomfortable and personal questions. And I hope befittingly relative to what we're going to be coming into during May. May might be a testing month because it's going to challenge relationships. Okay. So how am I going to be challenged in that? Well, today I put this post up on Facebook. I'll read it out to you. And this was a memory that Facebook served me up first thing this morning from 3 years ago. And it's a beautiful picture. Beautiful picture. She looks like she's got so much to say. Have we all been this person? I know I've been this person. Turn my back onto the world and bury my head. And it says the secret of change is to focus all your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. Socrates. It's part of the reason I've kind of escaped, moved up the fractal to get out of the whole COVID 5G stuff, because I can't affect any of that. I can absolutely affect how I respond to it. So just before I hit the record button, I started to feel really nervous, and now I feel really nervous now because hopefully I'm going to go a wee bit deeper today, a wee bit deeper into myself, and I'll explain why as we go through. And so I was just shuffling the cards, and I asked for my team just to gather around and give me a hug because I was feeling so nervous about today. And this beauty came out. So relaxing the hold of darkness is, so for me, darkness could be the unknown. So what's going to happen here? I don't know. I can only try. So relaxing that hold of darkness, because I tend to find in the darkness is my magic. Every time I've gone into the darkness, I call it pearl diving. Doctors would call it depression. It's where I go underground for a couple of days because I know there's a pearl down there and it's crushing and it hurts. But every time I get the pearl, you know, I look darkness in the face and go, cheers, mate, nice one. And be at cause, okay? So, so cause and effect is one of the universal principles. Every action has a reaction. And as below, so above. So hopefully I can create a ripple in the system today. But what I would love is that love comes out of it. So, remember yesterday's silent reading? For some reason, I didn't put the cards away. And looking through them this morning and glancing through the notes that I've written, which are copious, I'm like, oh wow, oh crikey, yeah, okay, right. So what I'm going to try and do is to weave together yesterday's silent reading with what we might be coming into in May, and certainly what I can sense already is my next module of learning. I can feel it coming in. I know I'm going to be challenged. So let's go through these. They're in a slightly different order. Let's just go through these. notice that this is card number 4. 4 is the number of the foundation, and foundations are certainly being shaken at the moment, I think it's safe to say. Sorry about that lawnmower. Let's work with the intrusion, okay. So, foundation, and what am I building? And the word is pause. Because sometimes when we ask ourselves, what am I building in that 4? We can move very quickly into the doingness of building. This is old paradigm. New paradigm is to tune in deeply and to allow flow state. It will come in. Okay, it will come in. Your higher self, your inner guidance, your sat nav, the divine, call it what you will, has sensed the question in you. What am I building? I'm going to move into a pause. I'm going to listen for the quiet voice. Listen for the quiet voice. We begin with a pause. And we begin maybe without knowing. When we let go of, I want to know what this is, it's amazing what comes through. Expectation is half of what's killed us. Because from expectation can only come disappointment. Stand up for what you believe in, regardless of the consequences. Regardless of the consequences. Let's speak into this. What consequences? Well, the consequences that if I speak into my truth and you don't like it, you're probably gonna feel some kind of way about that. You might judge me. You might smile to my face and then put a knife in my back, label me, exclude me. It's all the playground stuff, isn't it? It's all that divisive behavior. No matter what the consequences means, no matter what the consequences, if I feel that this is true in me, and if I also know that I'm holding a truth back because I'm complying or deferring to a system that can't meet that, won't meet that, I must stop coming to the camera just after I've had my breakfast. I'm sorry. I get excited about making videos, so I tend to inhale my breakfast because I just want to get in front of the camera. So forgive me, I'm human. I burp, okay. Hence the name of the title. I know this isn't uploaded, but I already know I'm going to call this, bear with me. This is going to be called Pluto, Venus, and the Big Burp. Okay. Speak your truth regardless of what others may think. This is how we birth the new. We birth the new by not rebirthing the old. And when we rebirth the old, we're saying what others want to hear. This is the parentified, adapted child, which is all over the system at the moment. Look for when the chin goes up in people and they have to prove their point, you know, and you have to march on like brave little soldiers. Feel into that, because when that's coming out and when they're right, but not, can we consider this, but it's might is right. When it's that kind of, what's happening is the teenager is coming forward. The teenager that hold the system growing up, the teenager that probably had to raise the parents and keep the family together. I know she's certainly in me. My teenager was very, very hard worked, very hard worked. So it's time to stand in your own power. How about it's time to stand in your own love? How about that? Because I don't think we're grown up enough to work with the word power before we truly understand what it is. It's not power. It's love. It's love. Shine for all the world to see. Speak your truth. Okay. I'm going to attempt to do that. I may chicken out halfway through. But I will still love me. Right. So, be spontaneous. I am. There's been this lovely thing happening on about 3 or 4 client sessions. Only in the last 10 days. I've followed this urge to just randomly say to the client, what if you made a YouTube video? What would that look like? And every time it's caused this visceral response, it's either this moving back or, oh, 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 that makes me want to giggle, but it's caused this visceral response. And we're in lockdown and our creativity is rising and it's going, where can I go? Where can I go? I can either turn to frustration and move into doingness and importanceness, or I can express and I can burp. Make videos. Yeah. So be spontaneous. The less you think about it, the more creativity will come through. So this is, I really connect with this card at the moment, and I'm not saying that this is wholly a collective card. I connect with this card because I'm working in my 12th house at the moment, which is the house of mysticism, mystery. I've been there for a while now. Mysticism and mystery, hidden, the occulted knowledge, hidden knowledge. I love that image. And also what I'd like to talk about today is moving up the fractal. I know I say this quite a lot and I don't catch myself up to explain what I mean if I need to. I'm sure you know what I mean, but it's just kind of, it's where do I want to be in this? It's that kind of really, really conscious choosing. So do I want to be in the layer that's circulating all the COVID stuff? No, I don't. Do I want to be in the layer that's moving around in the conspiracies? No, I don't. I want to be looking at something fresh and different. I want to be challenging some old structures in me that actually are still have attachments to those old dark themes. But I want to get up above it because it's the only way I can see the big picture. So yeah, stretching your neck up like a big giraffe. Look above it. Look down on it. Not because you're looking, you know, look at my nose, you don't look at my nostrils, you pigs. Not because you're looking down on it, but look down through it and see what you see. What does it look like up here? That's what I mean when I say moving up the fractal. I need to do that to see the bigger picture. I think this is the field I'm going to be walking into in May. I think this is going to be my test. And it's going to be about, it's going to be in relationships. It's going to take me to a deeper level of communication, a much deeper level of vulnerability. And I'm going to choose the doorway marked honesty. Okay. Just notice what's happening in my throat chakra, okay, as I'm moving through this. I always say to clients, because I can see the thought process, and I say to clients, you get that long. You get that long, where that voice comes up and you know it's that sword of truth, and you know it will set you free, but you don't, you defer to the system that can't meet it. You get that long. You've got to jump into it right then there, in that moment. Let go of expectation, let go of control. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to come out of that. This is where I talk about we fill the gaps with ghouls. I don't know what's going to happen. Go, I'm going to get judged and I'm going to feel like shit. No, you're not. You don't know that. You don't know that. Somebody might be walking past the very moment you say that thing you think you shouldn't, and they might go, that's what I want. It's you. That's what I want. You can help me. Okay? I'll read this out to you. Love, compassion, and truth will heal the present situation. Present situation can be global. Can be global. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself, because we're in retrograde season, so there's going to be some quite focused energies affecting our field. So today I'm just working with Pluto and Venus, because this morning I was tuning in, and I was just tuning in and imagining what would happen if I could be in a room with Pluto and Venus. So Pluto is structure, use of power, belief, all the shadow stuff. Venus is going to go retrograde in May sometime. So they're coming in, okay? Venus is the good things in life. She rules Taurus, which is material, abundance. Taurians love luxury. They love luxury. So Venus going retrograde is going to ask, what do you really want? What does your heart want? Now is the time. What do your heart want? You can't filter it. What does your heart want? What does your heart want? So I just kind of put these two energies in a room and felt in, and I could feel where I'm going to be challenged. I know already what's going to come in. So May, you could see me looking an absolute wreck, really angry with the world. Or I could rise and just be amazing, have an amazing adventure, which is where I'm going to go with this. So I'm going to have an amazing adventure, and I'm sharing it online because it might help somebody. Discover what it is that you truly desire. Bing. Then speak your truth clearly. What I truly desire, what I truly love at the moment is creative media. That's what I truly love, truly love. It's connecting with you, it's connecting with spirit, it's creating a conversation, it's creating art. I love it. I love it. Always speak with love and compassion. We're going to get tested on this. We're going to get tested on this. Somebody recently said to me, I just want to be the best I can be. And I said, qualify best. What is that? What is that? Do we impose that upon ourselves so we can continually fall down? Because we haven't qualified or quantified best. We don't know where we're shooting. Where's my arrow going? It's this concept called best, but I don't know what the fuck it is. So always speaking with love and compassion to yourself. To yourself. Know that the truth will never harm anyone when spoken from a place of love. Okay, this is a big one. If we speak our truth because we're angry, that's going to hurt. Okay, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with hurting people, but you've got to be able to live with the consequences of that. And so far in my experience, the consequences of hurting someone tend to morally wound us. Okay. So when you're in a place of love or self-love, when your inner voice is kind, gentle, understanding, sometimes firm, but never judgy or parental, you know, then bringing your truth to the world tends to make it come out sharper and cleaner. Love. Keep saying it, love. So every time I pick this card up, I get sacral and crown. I feel the sacral chakra and the base to some extent, and I see or tune into the crown chakra. And for me, this is about creative sexual expression, and it can be to do with sex in the 3D mundane. But in the non-ordinary sense, this is about how do I express my art in the world? How do I express the part of me you're not going to like in the world? How do I express the dissonant part of me in the world? that does not fit into this system? How do I express that in the world? Okay, so where are we? April, May, coming into Taurus season. Taurus is as grounded as it gets, you know. Taurus is earth, it's fecundity, it's very sexual. I've heard it referred to as penis energy, Taurus, okay? So in the 3D, that can literally be shagging a lot, okay? In higher dimensional output, expression, that can be you really finding your pace, really hitting your stride, okay? An influx of sexual energy, of course. Of course. Taurus, Venus, Pluto to some extent. Embracing both the masculine and feminine aspects of soul. Okay, so this is an embodied self, a holistic self, complete self. Nothing out there can complete you, nothing. It's safe for you to express your sexuality in whatever way you choose. It says provided you do it lovingly. I would guide to do everything lovingly, but again, it's your choice. And is this what we're moving towards? Can you read that? You know, the number 13 is holding the tension of conflict. It is cognitive dissonance. It's challenging one with the other and holding that argument within the self. So, it's that energy. Until that system breaks open and light can come in to change its vibration so it transmutes. Renewal of peace can't be done with some new age bumper sticker. Can't. I choose peace. Yeah, you can choose peace, but you know how to transmute shadow into peace because it's all internal. You need the peace because you've got shadow. You wouldn't need the peace if, you know, you'd be at peace. You'd already be at peace if you had no shadow. That's the intro. Told you to get a coffee, didn't I? Okay. I'm going to move to my notes. So I might kind of move into the cognitive a little bit. I'll try and stay in flow state. So I was asked this morning, a friend messaged me this morning, who's been watching my videos and who said, can I ask, what feels different to you about you because you've really changed? Energetically, you've really, really changed. And it's amazing that this question came in this morning because last night and this morning, I was mentally and to some extent emotionally revisiting all the videos I made in 2019, where I was naive, finding my way. I was moving in and out of flow state, making mistakes, recording a video and then feeling awful about it. Against that 13 at work, it's breaking down the structure of it must be great. Well, no, that particular video was crap, you know. So I'm kicking up the dust within me that wants perfection, the part of me that wants perfection, or the part of me that doesn't want to be judged for not landing just spot on the pinhead. And indeed, last weekend, I made myself a deck of cards because I work quite heavily in the esoteric. I'll come to that in a minute. And I wanted to more deeply understand the house system, the 12 houses. So I made myself a house set of cards, but I powered them up with certain symbols and yada yada. And then I did a reading around that. And I had a ball that day. The whole day was just in flow state, didn't know where I was. When I disappear out of time, I know I'm in my passion. When I lose all sense of time, like I used to garden for 7 hours non-stop, because I was lost. I was totally in love, totally in love. And the day after I made those cards and had a fantastic day, I triggered an abreaction in me. So what rose up in me was patriarchy, but that wasn't profitable or productive. How are you gonna pay the bills with that? It was that old. Why did you do that? It's that. So again, sat with it and transmuted it, and gave myself permission to move more deeply into meaningless joy, which is what I'm pursuing, meaningless joy. So yeah, how naive my voice was, being able to track where I pinged between mind and spirit, and to not judge myself for that, to stay in a place of love when I do ping between mind and spirit and start talking bullshit, because I do that. So I think those early videos were my training ground. Since then, the biggest shift in me has been to fall off the high wire, off the cliff edge, off the map, off the plan, in fact, off everything I find myself trying to control. I just keep letting go and surrendering to my highest self again and again and again, over and over, until I become empty. Until I found myself staring straight into the void. And I didn't like that bit, not one little bit. Didn't like that at all. That was as lost as you can ever feel. But I've been there. Add in some staggering acceleration points, working with different energies and not getting hung up on needing to know. And now I just go with the flow. Like one of my peers said to me last year, "You've hit flow state, Chrissy, you feel completely different." However, if I've made that all sound easy, it wasn't. My ego or the projected self or the person I thought I was or the person I want you to think I am was in constant trigger. So I fought the process like a mule, and 2019 almost killed me. I don't say that lightly. It almost killed me. What saved me? Yeah, okay. I'm just being reminded I need to bring something in here. What I've seen in the field at the moment is, but what will they think of me? And this is showing itself as, it's an exquisitely complex double-edged sword. When I left the corporate world and started to birth myself in public, I think my dominant thought was, what are they going to think of you, Chrissy? Oh my God, business manager to, I don't know, insert words here. So what are they going to think of me? If I defer to that, I keep myself small, or I adapt to it. I change to please, I serve to please. But if I tell the absolute truth around that, no matter what the consequences, okay? The absolute truth is, but I manipulated them to see me that way. Okay. If you're going to challenge somebody as you birth your true self, okay. I did this piece a while ago called gap analysis. So I took something I learned from the business world and applied it to the self. And gap analysis is, who am I at work and who am I at home? Who am I in the public eye and who am I in private? If there's a gap, then you're not aligned. You're not aligned. So, but I'm scared of what they think of me. Well, they only think that of you because that's what you've shown them. You've shown them certain aspects of your personality to create this facade. This is the Tower card, the facade, to create this facade so that they think you are. Okay, I did that. I did that. We all do it. We all do it. Because we're not fully living in truth at the moment. We're moving into it, and it'll be a few hundred years before we get there, but we're moving into truth. This is remember I said the other day, the unfiltered self might be my new I love you. The unfiltered self. Oh, God, even now my whole body's just going, oh, oh that's heaven, Chrissy. That's like a massage. The unfiltered self, okay? The unfiltered self doesn't please to its own detriment. It can please, but not to its own detriment, okay? So look at that double-edged sword. Oh, I'm swallowing my truth because I don't want to offend that. But oh, I don't want to offend that, but I set that up to see me that way. Oh, crap. Only I can break that down by telling the truth. Okay, it's beautiful, isn't it? In 2019, what saved me was I moved up the fractal. It's like I'd outgrown where I was and I was swimming in circles, you know, like a big fish in a bowl. I was swimming in a small circle and not getting anywhere. So I needed to learn and stretch and grow. So I moved to the esoteric, and it's the esoteric that gave me aha moment after aha moment. Unbelievable answers came in, pouring in. So I moved to the esoteric where I found much bigger lungs. I'm just reading this out because I started writing this morning. I didn't stop and I thought it might be useful, so I'll read it out. I found much bigger lungs and a huge playground. Suddenly, everything came together. Like when I started studying Vedic astrology, I saw I was in my sadhisati. What the hell's a sadhisati? So I had to start learning another language. Sadhisati is a Saturn return. And I've been in my Saturn return since 2014. So I cast my mind back and I go, what happened in 2014? Shit, I left the corporate world. I stepped onto another timeline. Saturn is timing. Honestly, you can't make this up. And I was probably one of those people who used to laugh at astrology. Okay, hand on heart. But now it's just like, oh, right. Okay, yeah, I get why I'm in that. Yeah, I get why I'm resisting that. So once I knew that Saturn, I was in my Saturn return, it became more understandable. I won't go as far as say it became easier. It became more understandable. So leaving the corporate world in 2014 started this 6-year journey, and here's a very, very difficult journey, to outgrow the Kali Yuga. So we're moving into, I think it's the bronze, we're moving into the bronze out of what looks like the dark ages, which is base chakra sacral. It's all sex and war. That's where we are at the moment. Wrong use of power, yada yada. And we're moving into a different expression of ourselves. So we're moving out of the age of materialism in the big picture, in the Vedic picture. And I had to reframe my relationship with the material world. Okay. So the material world. So me in the corporate world looked like great job, great money, car, clothes, holidays, disposable income, living the dream. I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy, I wasn't satisfied, I wasn't fulfilled, I wasn't enriched. No, none of that. The last 2 years of my career, I think when they moved me into retraining as a business trainer, very alive. I was on fire, because I was on my path already, you see, I was moving into it, so I was going to become a facilitator. So I needed basic training for running groups, yada yada. There's no accidents in this game, you know. So I had to reframe my relationship with money, poverty, greed, and what defines me. This is huge. So I was breaking down everything that defined me, which was this exterior projection of, look at me, I'm successful. No, I was in poverty consciousness. I was in poverty consciousness. That's amazing. See, I have everything. It's the irony, ultimate irony, isn't it? So now through a much wider lens, which is cleared of material detritus, I can move up the fractal. And when I move up the fractal, I now see a bigger picture, which is that the last 10 years has culminated in literally a graduation ceremony that happened last year in the non-ordinary. I couldn't have imagined anything like this in my wildest dreams. So we're on journeys and cycles that we're not even aware of. You know, when you sit by a flat, calm pond and you toss in a little pebble and you watch the ripples move out, and then you toss in another little pebble and see what happens. You'll see a new set of ripples move out, but the ripples they intersect without sending this one, the original one, all wobbly. So it doesn't mess the field up, it just intersects. And so within the body, you've got this constant intersection of cycles upon cycles upon cycles upon cycles. Who knows? One of your cycles might be 45 years long, coming down to a day cycle. So you're moving, you know, just as the cell renews itself, you're renewing all the time, changing your energy field, your understanding of life, your experience of life, enriching the soul, connecting to the heart. It's all change, it all changes your field. So, so I followed my soul's calling. That sounds really clever, doesn't it? I didn't know I was doing this. I didn't know. And my soul's calling was just let the foot go, Chrissy. And during a meditation last summer, I literally was asked, Chrissy, can you surrender now and let the universe feed you grapes? Sounds lovely, doesn't it? Yeah, no, no. That was hard. Me letting go. I'm a parentified child. I can't let go. I have control issues. I need a spreadsheet. I had to let it all go. Just let go. Every time worry came in, I just went, ah. Every time worry came in, I can assure you it didn't look disgraceful. It looked angry. It looked like divine discontent. It looked like stomping and shouting. And I was burning up this victim martyr. I was burning it out. Not pretty, really not pretty, but glad I did it. So by mid-2019, I'd begun the stopping trying thing. Stop trying. And moved to allowing. So I stopped trying, pushing, and I just allowed. And then this thing started happening. And if a client moved away, I didn't worry about it. I didn't look at the bottom line. I just kind of reflected on their journey and checked that they were safe in their mind, and then let them go with love, and two would come in. And so this flow state happens, and it will take you all over the place when you surrender to it, when you totally surrender. Totally. So allowing. So I started moving to everything my inner wisdom suggested I did. I felt or I sensed or I moved into without a plan, a map, a compass, a spreadsheet, or any method of control. This is free fall. Oh God, this is a one-way ticket to being medicated for psychosis. No wonder doctors squash this shit down. We don't want this kind of freedom of expression in the world. My small mind started shattering like a fragile egg, and light started pouring in. And this journey I've been on for probably 25 years. I think I started meditating 25 years ago. So light's been pouring in for 25 years, but the acceleration, probably since 2012, the acceleration has got faster. It's like we've gone to super broadband. I can do now what used to take me 4 days, in the noughties, in the 90s and the noughties. So I was coming home to me and I was love. Never saw that. Never saw that coming. I was coming home to me and I was love. So what am I moving into? I'm going to be moving in May to 12th house initiations, which I've been in for a few months now. I don't know, I'd have to check my journal. It may last the rest of the year. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter again, that's just moving to, but why is this happening? And how's it going to happen? And when's it going to end? And it's happening. So how can I best deal with it? Well, turn it into an adventure and have fun with it. So I'm having fun with a new level of exposure. I think that's the big picture. It's going to be a new level of exposure. It's going to be new soul tribes coming in that want to take me deeper. I want to move me into, I think there's going to be some body processes coming in. It's real hidden shy. It's the shy mystic. It's like the deep parts of the shy mystic. So yeah, that's what's coming in for me. Okay. I want to talk about something else now. This is in the collective. It's also a process I use when I want to move very quickly from feeling like shit to giggling my shoes off. And it's called the tantrum. So in March, I started seeing tantrum energy coming through the system. And I would encourage the client to, how could they move into tantrum? How can they move into that energy? Because part of the adaptation of the human being is that it has stopped behaving in a natural way. And again, if you want to understand how to behave naturally, watch a child. I always say it's the child that raises the adult. You know, if you're a parent, listen to your children. Listen, they are so full of the most bonkers wisdom. Ah, God, yeah. It can even come through as, you know, inane bollocks, but listen to them, because kids have such a power to trigger the parent. And that's the raising. That's how the kid raises the parent. It shows the parent all the unhealed that's inside. About 2 months ago, I was in the kitchen. I was in a moment of divine discontent because my expectation had planned something in my mind calendar. This is all my control, had planned something which hadn't happened. Why? Because I'm human. I can only dream small. You know, the universe wants to dream really, really big. And something hadn't happened, or something wasn't happening quick. Oh, that was it. I knew it was coming. It wasn't happening quick enough. I want it quicker. I'm a fire sign. I can't be all watery and flowy. I need it now. But I was getting quite angry with it. And so I tuned into the anger. I was in my kitchen making a cup of tea, and I thought, just go with it, Chrissy, see what happens. And I allowed myself a tantrum, a full-blown child tantrum. And I think it took about 8 seconds, and I was crying with laughter, and then I was crying with crying. So all the emotion of that kid that couldn't tantrum, and that is in us all. That is in us all. The kid that quickly gets moved to correct behavior by the parent, correct behavior. You know, unless you're a Montessori kid or you go to some beautiful artful schools which seem to have erupted in the last few years, I mean, you're very, very lucky if you do, then generally you will have been shushed or shut up by some teacher or some parent or whatever, or some religion. That child, as I've said, is coming alive now and wants to be wild now. So I might suggest that you practice the tantrum. I've had a few, especially online. It's beautiful because the client can wander off camera, and so they can feel the child rising, and this child is very discontented, very, very discontented, sad, sorrow, angry, frustrated, all of that in this goo. And they move off camera and they go and have a fucking tantrum, and it's wild and fantastic. You feel the whole field change. It becomes very, ooh, what's the word? I can feel it. It feels like electricity as that energy gets released into the system. So I highly guide you to go and have a tantrum. Marvelous therapy, marvelous therapy. So yes, have a tantrum. Bear with me, just reading my notes. Talk much to cells. Yeah, beautiful. So I had a beautiful comment on my YouTube channel that I was reading this morning, and I'll read it out, it's because it's in the public. Christy, beautiful energy. How difficult is it, in one way, to speak your truth when one hasn't been honest with self? Not dishonesty in terms of deception and treachery, but rather in terms of not facing and admitting that which is truly desired. I know these times of initiation and exposure, I face not even being sure of what my desires really are. Maybe I haven't been able to admit it. Maybe I need to allow my inner wild child to throw himself down a hill, rolling side over side, jump up at the bottom, go and do it all again. I strongly suggest you do that. Until they're so dizzy that all the facades and shadows spin away in the aftermath. Oh, what a beautiful visual that is. This process never ceases. No, it doesn't. And I think you've just answered your own question. Your truth right now is that you haven't been honest with yourself. And so it is. Okay? We all lie to ourselves on some level, and sometimes blindly. We are dissolving the paradigm that made us. And to do that, we need to see where we have belied our own truth first. This all sounds very easy to do, to tell the raw truth, to come out of our self-made closets. But here's the caveat. Others might not like our true self, so we need to check our expectations around that and be prepared to stand naked and feeling a bit something when we get judged for effectively shaking the ground on which others stand in order to stand in our own truth. Okay? Notes are gone. When we stand in our truth, we are going to trigger the world around us. We are. Because it hasn't changed its settings yet. It's changing its settings to meet deeper levels of joy and art and creativity and disagreement and argumentativeness. Just, yeah. I'm staring at a card that wasn't put away yesterday. I saw a beautiful synonym for, is that the right word for love, the other day, and it was, love isn't some hallmark romantic chocolate and roses gesture. That isn't love at all. That's a multi-million-pound industry, in my opinion. Love is, I actually had this conversation with a client, it's a beautiful conversation. Can my broken self meet your broken self? And then I was kind of wobbling around. I don't like the word broken. I'm not broken. So I moved to wounded. And then the client gave me the word messy. And I love that. I'm messy. Can my messy self meet your messy self and respect that in you? Because it's in me. rather than move quickly to judgment, because what does judgment do? It puts me up there, doesn't it? Puts me up there where I'm comfortable. Tearing down the tower of our own bullshit. That's what we're doing. That's all we're doing. Tearing down the tower of our own bullshit. Closing down that gap analysis that actually shit who I've portrayed myself to be in the public isn't who I am in the private moments. It really isn't. But we're bringing it. Bless our hearts. We're bringing it. I'm going to stop talking. I feel great. I'm so glad I did that. Oh, wow. I would love your feedback. Yeah, the invite's there. If you want to make an uncomfortable video with me where we both explore some shadow shit, then yeah, do so. We can hold each other in deep respect and see where the adventure takes us. I'd love to do that playful kind of work. It's just playfulness. Is it that one? God, there's so much. There's so much. The light is the truth. Your light is your truth. Your light is the essence of who you are. It's your truth. Focus on that. Amazing. I'm excited. Oh, God, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is a wonderful experience. Wonderful experience. I hope you're all well. I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday, or if not, I hope it's a Wednesday that you can have an adventure with. I'll be back again soon. Take great care, stay safe, and see you again.